Well, hello. Today we're going to talk about instruction language. How important it is to adjust your language, the way you talk about something. How important it is for the receiver, for the person who's listening to you, learning from you. First, for example, I can explain you a few chords, like a G chord. I can tell you. Without using my instrument or my hands or anything else, the notes, then you're going to say like, okay, you can do the notes, you can do it. But if you don't know the notes, then you're like, it's talking Chinese or something. But if I tell you against you, give me a G starting in capo 5, you're going to be like, capo 5, that's that. What's a capo? Therefore, it's important you always try to use instruments to strengthen your way of teaching. For example, if I talk about the guitar, I should take a guitar. If I talk about a headphone, I should take a headphone. If I talk about coffee, take coffee. Of course. It's making it easier for the learner to understand about what you're talking. That's important with instruction language, from what I understand of it, underneath of it. And I often learn from the internet, from bass guitar player on the internet. It's kind of bassonline.com or something like that. And I see from him how important it is, how to instruct somebody or to teach somebody, because we go to teachers, how to teach something to another person. For example, he has a video on his internet how to adjust your snares on the right tone, so that you have an E, A, D, and go one. And how you have to put the snares on the guitar, and he always uses his guitar to show it. So he starts with a demonstration, a fast demonstration, for example. We also learned in Didactisch Antwerpen the three steps demo demonstration. He uses that method. He's first starting to just nothing when he starts to fix his guitar. He let us see how he does it. No instructions, no telling, no nothing. He just do it first. Second time, he does it also, but he calls the name of the instrument. So this is a snare. So when he takes the snare, yeah, I'm going to take the snares, and I start with the snare E. That's the one with the color green. That's the E snare. And that's the first one I'm going to put in. And he shows it. It's a green snare. He has a nipple, a green nipple on the back of the snare. And he says, this one's the first I'm going to put on the guitar. And that's the second time he does it. And the third time, he's going to tell you how to do it. Oh, but we have a classic guitar, so it's important. If you take the green snare, you make a small knot on the end of the snare, and you first put it in. And he shows it in how you should do it. For everything is the same. If you teach something, it's very important you have to demonstrate it with the instrument or material you're talking about. Only if it's possible. If you're talking about the ages of the knights and even then you can fix something to make it up. Okay, except for when you're talking about gods. That's something we can't represent in material or stuff. In bearing the statue of Maria, but that's not really going to happen. So for the rest, for the teacher, it's important to, in Dutch to work inductief, because it's again in Dutch, restrict your way of teaching. If you talk about something, they're going to understand it much faster, and you're not going to lose time. That's the importance with instruction language. So, for example, we were talking about the G, and I can tell you where I can ask you for a G, give me a G, but then you're like, what the fuck? Or a D, for example. I'm going to take a D. I'm going to show you how to take it. So you put your middle finger, you have 5 fingers, the thumb comes underneath of it, in the middle of your arm. It's very important, it's in the middle of your arm. Then you put your first, the second finger, this one, this first, second, third, first, second, third, and fourth. As you see, I can do like this, first, second, third, but you see this one goes also. That's not good for an instruction language. So, first, second, third, fourth. So, the second one comes here, the first one comes here, and the third one comes here. So, for our first chord, a D chord. Then we're going to go for an A. Okay, again, we put the first one on the third snare, the second finger on the fourth snare, and the third finger on the fifth snare underneath. It's hard to see with the camera on the second fret. So these are all frets, and then you play the A chord. And after this one, you're going to recognize the song. Then we go to a B minor chord. B minor chord is a little bit difficult. You start with the first finger underneath this one, the second finger on the second snare, the third fret, the third finger on the fourth fret, fourth snare, and the fourth finger on the third snare, fourth fret. Then you have a B minor. Then you go for the G. First finger on first snare, third fret. Second finger on the third fret, first snare. First finger on the second snare, second fret. And then your fourth or your third finger, last snare, third fret. If you play it, if you can play this, you practice on this, you can do the fietskist. Instruction language, the way you give something to somebody, or you teach somebody something, is important that you do it in the correct way. With the right instruments, it's possible, of course. It's not possible when you talk about God, but if you talk about a guitar, you bring a guitar. If you talk about GSM, you bring a GSM. If you talk about smartphone, you bring a smartphone. If you talk about a spoon, you bring a spoon. Of course, I have a spoon here, so I'm talking about spoon. Always try to bring your instruments along if you talk about something. Yeah? If you talk about Dutch language, then you're going to use it. There are things in the world you cannot say, this is it. Yeah? This is Dutch. It's hard to say this is Dutch, only when it's written. And when it's written, you can say, this is Dutch. If you're talking about, I speak Dutch, so you can't bring Dutch along with you. You always have Dutch along with you. We always try to fortify your teaching by using instruments, material, didactisch materiaal. Thank you for listening, and see you again.